Welcome everyone, and thanks for coming on board. We've got Mark Graham, we've got Penny Andrews and Herbie Gersha. Did I say that right, Herbie?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, first thing I'm going to do is, because we never quite get this right, I want to thank the sponsors. We've actually got some sponsors, which is cool. Brett Stammers of Rare Surf T-shirts, thank you very much, and Holly and Sue at Looking Smart, who look after the club. So what I'm going to do, guys, this is just a nice way of us keeping in touch in ISO. And I've got a bunch of questions here. I'm just going to throw it out to you. We might choose an order. I mean, we might start with you, Mark, and then Penny and Herbie. So the first question I want to ask is, how long have you been surfing?
But probably not 74 I started. So that's 44 years, I suppose. You'd think I'd surf better after all that time, but no, it's good. It's fine. Yeah.
Right. Penny?
8 years. So, well, yeah, I started when I turned 40. So I'm giving you an indication of my age.
You're not 40 yet. Come on.
Nearly. Almost. Almost.
Yeah.
It's a good diet.
Herbie, do you want to pass?
A good diet.
On the diet, oh gosh, started 56, probably 16 years, is that right?
56 years you've been surfing?
16.
Yeah.
I started when I began when I was 56.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Wow.
Impressive, Herbie.
Yes.
That's great. So, Herb, I might ask you, what was the first board you had and who made it?
A raster board, I still have it. The kids were using it in New South Wales, and then they packed it in a van. It's got a few big have to fit in marks on it. Big marks. So they compressed it into a little container.
Oh, God. But
it still works. The raster. I think AG and Ross Harrison made it.
Yeah.
Okay. This is more a question for Bob. I'm sure he's interested in knowing about all our boards. Penny, your first board and who made it?
Well, I do have to go back. When I was 15, I did buy a surfboard. And I still have that board. But I probably mucked around on it for a summer and had a really scary experience that jammed up and never surfed again. So I say I started surfing at 40, but I really did have a go when I was a teenager. But I still have that board, and that is a Kim Thompson water-cooled thruster. So it's an epic old board. But then when I started when I was 40, I just was using strapper surfboards, like mid-length sort of things. The boys all had them, and yeah, before I got my own board.
Like a mini Mal sort of board?
More like a thruster sort of shape, I suppose. I didn't really know what sort of surfing I wanted to do, so just started with those classic sort of shapes. I think actually they're called the Strapper Classic board. Yeah.
I had some classic strapper too, the Rocky Point and all sorts of boards.
Yeah.
Mark, can you recall your first board? And
Yes, it was a Greg Knoll, actually. And it was, I think it was a mid-length that was cut down by a guy, and my brother and I went halves in it. I think we paid $23 for it back in 74. That was about 3 weeks' wages probably, but part-time wages. But yeah, it was, we used to go down to Torquay and get in the water any time of the year with our board shorts and a jumper on, and have 2 waves each, and then hand it over, 2 waves each, hand it over. Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah.
Whatever happened to that board?
Oh, I'd love to know. It was beautiful too, red. Yeah. Apparently Greg Knoll boards are quite sought after now.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mark, how did you learn to surf, and did anyone help you?
No, it was just my brother and I pushing each other and watching other people surf, and it was back in the days where you just had to paddle and try your best. And I think we just surfed in the whitewash for about 2 years for the first 2 years of our surfing career or lives. But yeah, there was no one taught you really anything then, and you stayed at people's way, and because I was a boy from the suburbs up in Melbourne, so we used to come down every weekend when we could. Yeah, it's good.
And surfing, where? Where were you surfing?
Mainly Torquay, or if it was too big there, we'd go in Ocean Grove or something, yeah. But yeah, it was straight to Torquay. Mum and Dad loved Torquay. They'd have a coffee and watch and laugh at us. So
Yeah, okay.
take the thermos down. Yeah, it's good.
Penny, so you kind of answered this earlier on anyway, but how did you learn to surf? I mean, were you kind of coerced by friends, or is it just something that you really wanted to do on your own?
When I tried as a teenager, it was just something I wanted to do, but of course stopped very quickly. But yeah, I'd always wanted to surf, and then everyone in my family was surfing. My husband and my children and my brothers surfed forever, so I was really fortunate that I would just go with them all and have a go. And same thing, you just start on white water and you just keep building your confidence and getting better and better and changing boards and trying different things. And fortunately living down here, just surfing anywhere and everywhere. So really lucky.
Very lucky. We're very lucky down here, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Herbie, I'm so impressed. 16 years. Now, I know you had a long association with Bob, but what really, was there something that coerced you into surfing?
Yeah, trying to stay fit and stay alive, basically. Give up the naughty things as one does, become a teetotaler. And then I saw Frank Allen come down at Posso's one year, and I thought, gee, mate, well, if you can surf, you seem to be a senior fellow. So anyway, I went down to Roscoe and said, I'd like to get one of those boards. What do you recommend? So he recommended me a board, and then I had put all the gear on, kicked the bootle, and I stood it there at Raffamere Bay, and Paul Fletcher came up and said, you all right there, mate? I said, what would you like to do? I said, I'd like to get out the back there, mate. See what, have fun with all the people. Everybody seems to be rushing past me. So he did. He actually taught me how to count, but being a retro grom, I'm still learning.
Which is good.
Now, surf coaching, this is a question I want to ask. I think each of you have been coached at some point. Actually, there was a session with Ben earlier this year that all three of you were in.
That's correct.
What have you taken away from that? I think they're pretty amazing.
Okay.
Improvement?
Do you want to go to Ben first?
Yeah, any one of you.
Definitely. Oh, you were in there too, Glenn.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think when you see yourself some footage or some vision and you can see what you're doing and what you need to work on. And of course, the coaches, whoever's doing it, and this year it was Ben, absolutely marvellous at pointing out where you need to go to next. So the next goal or the next part of your surfing you need to really focus on, which is good.
Yeah.
It is. It's exactly what Penny said. It's just the finer details on getting in the right position for the right part of the wave. And yeah, some of the video that Ben pointed out to me was just where I was moving my body where I shouldn't have been. And it was like when we used to skateboard, I think years ago, you just got that natural flow. And I think I just forgot about it. So he pointed out some things that instantly came back. Yeah.
Herbie?
Yeah, the beauty thing about Ben is he's actually in most locations where we all surf. So he's able to get a cross-dynamic view of us all when we're normally surfing and when we're trying to compete in surfing. Because a lot of these coaching things are not necessarily for free surfing, but also to gain points and how to perform. under duress and in various conditions. And I think what he's done is excellent, because he manages to draw in all of those aspects of our surfing. You know, one day we do this, one day we do that, but he's strategic in his ability to look at our body awarenesses.
Yeah, he's very technical. Unfortunately, the conditions were atrocious, but there was so much to take away from it. It was a really good learning process. And
that just shows the level of Ben's skill as a coach, that even to see us in those conditions and still be able to be of so much benefit and give us so much to take away, so much information and individual information for each of us, because we all went away with different goals.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I highly recommend people in the club who are watching this, when the opportunity comes around for coaching, grab it. It gives you so much to think of when you're going for a surf.
Yeah.
And there's no way you're not going to improve from it.
I'm sort of making that transition from performance longboarding to logging, and watching Ben and Lee is just, the dream to get any part of that skill set down would be great. Yeah.
Absolutely. And look, this kind of leads into another question I had here too, was, are there any particular longboard surfers who you love watching, and why? Herbie, we might start with you.
Oh, the YouTube's full of them. I like to watch the women, of course. Thanks, Benny.
Of course.
I like to watch the women
because
too.
they have a particular grace. And, with the men as well, and you look at the competitions, and it always amazes me in the Australian comps when you look at all the specialist surfers go out there and they have all their styles and their technique. I can't say that any one of them's more outstanding than another. It just comes down to this aesthetic of judging. Like the last guy that I saw actually went like that to the judges in some overseas thing. So, what's the aesthetic in that? But certainly the grace and dexterity that a lot of the local surfers put out in our conditions are something to aim to achieve, at least for me anyway.
Is there one in particular who really stands out?
Lee Considine. Bob Smith, actually, and Lee Considine.
Yeah.
Well, not one. There's Bud's good. Everybody, the amazing thing is, you know who it is immediately. So there's proprioception of their body styles. So it's something, and in each condition, each person performs, and that's what I'm looking at. How do they solve these problems in quick succession and in quick time, and how to read the wave when I'm out here, talking about myself, I find myself that the body reacts slowly. All of a sudden there's fear and fright. Oh shit, there's this wave coming up, I better do this. And before then, I'm gone, that's history. So the people that I admire seem to be able to manage those things that I find difficult. So I can't say any one of them is, Benny. But everyone else in certain conditions, great.
Penny, is there any? Well, I won't say one. Obviously, there are a lot of really good, versatile surfers who can surf in all conditions.
Oh, look, I could name lots of people who are in the WSL tour or whatever, but really for myself, because of being a regular surfer at Hossos, I'm very similar. Bob and Lee were one of the first two people that I met, and Sasha was the first lady I saw logging at Hossos, and she was my inspiration to start logging. So I looked at her and I said, right, I know what sort of surfer I want to be now. I want to surf a log like that. So, yeah, we're very lucky that we're spoilt with so much inspiration here on our coast. So many beautiful surfers.
Yeah.
Yep. Sash is a fantastic surfer. Yeah. Mark?
Well, what Penny's just reminded me, like the hometown crew does it for me. I mean, I got into longboarding because of Noel Shannon, and I bought my first longboard off Cal, his brother, and it was Howard Hughes. But there's Lee, there's Ben, but like Noel, there's always people down this neck of the woods that are so good. John Lane, it's just rattle off any name you like, but they've all got individual styles, and if you can pick them apart and grab a little piece of each, it'd be wonderful.
Okay. As far as types of waves, is there a particular wave, Mark, that you really enjoy surfing? Is it a point break? Is it a reef? Is it a beach break?
If there's a good left-hander, point break any day. But I love little beach breaks, little 13 jack, when it hits the bar or something. Posse has is good fun, and Penny knows I like the left there when it happens sometimes. Yeah.
Nice to share.
I was actually, just before I was 18, or just got my licence, I used to surf Altona on the wind swell. So I've surfed some of the worst. Some of the crappiest you've ever seen. So, yeah.
I was a Brighton beach surfer.
Yeah.
I know.
Wind swells.
Yeah.
I actually met Lisa surfing at Altona, so it was fortuitous. Yeah.
Okay. That's Brett Lawler territory.
Yeah.
Penny, type of wave?
Yeah, definitely a point break for me. I'm a point break girl. I love postos. I love lawn point. I'll always choose a point break over a beachy. I often struggle with beachies because I just haven't spent a lot of time surfing them. I find them more challenging, but nevertheless, I still enjoy them. So, but yeah, love a point break.
Yeah, they certainly can be challenging on longboards, trying to surf some of the beach breaks around here.
Yeah.
Typical beach breaks. Herbie, we see you out at point a fair bit.
Well, yeah, I like that. Namely because it's called Point Impossible, so one always tries the impossible. But they're all new to me, and I liked a lot of them, and so I can't really say one's better than the other. I tend to go to Possos a lot when the conditions are fine and the back of the wave counterbalances the wave. I seem to, on the log, get up the front, and if it's the thruster, I have fun on that. So I'm just mucking around having fun. So that's about it.
Now, Herbie, I know you live near Altona, so have you ever ventured out into those waters?
Yeah, put the dog on it one year and a stand-up paddleboard. And in the middle of winter, about this time of the year, and Williamstown. Don't know if you know Williamstown. It's got a bit of not a jetty thing. What do you call it? A shelter.
Yeah.
Okay. Is anyone? Sorry. Is anyone overseas? Sorry to cut you off, Herbie.
Only Phillip Island.
Right.
Does that count?
Oh, yeah, of course it does.
What, Tasmania? No, we went to Kaikoura. The club took us. We all went to Kaikoura one year.
Fantastic.
Sasha was there.
Yep.
Phil Angelovich was there. Oh,
Where's
rain
Kaikoura?
fate. Is that the question? Have we been overseas?
Yeah.
Yeah, New
Surfing
Zealand.
overseas.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from Mount Maunganui, so I know those areas pretty well.
With Bud, the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. But we're running like buggery to try and get down there to make the comp. So Bud paddles like crazy, gets out the back there, and obviously couldn't hear anything. He was so keen to start, so he's caught this massive wave all the way in. All you could see was Bud going, oh, and the announcer's going, Bud White, and Bob's going, yeah. And about 3/4 of a kilometre, all the way down the other end, and then these heats started. And he had to paddle all the way back. Yeah, that was the best.
Yes. Very good. Penny, have you had any experience surfing overseas at all?
I've never taken a board, but I've hired a board in Bali just because I was so desperate to have a surf and basically surfed Kuta closeouts on this log. So, yeah, it wasn't very joyful, but I had to go.
Okay, I
Yeah.
might start with you, Penny, on this one. Do you have a fitness routine to keep you surfing? Do you play any other sports that enhance your surfing at all?
No. I walk the dog sometimes.
Answer.
And I surf a lot. So my
Yep.
surfing is my fitness routine. That's
Yep.
it. Only when I've had injuries and I've had to do rehab, because I've had knee injuries, so I've had to rehab those. So that's it. Yeah.
Mark?
As you know, Glenn, I did martial arts for quite a few years, and I still like to play around with that, but I have weights in my garage, and every day I do something. I use the ab roller, we walk every morning, so yeah, I try to keep as fit as I can. Yeah, 60 years old, but I'm trying to get younger.
Listen, mate, it doesn't happen.
Oh, thanks, Herbie.
Oh, look at you, Herb. You're looking
Yeah.
doing well.
Well, I still do whip cracking, try and keep the shoulders going. I have to breathe because I have a thing called COPD, COPD, and any way that I can improve this my lung condition. Also have a little Lacaband thing here in the house, and a log out the back, and well, a real log, not a log, and a board across it to learn balance things on there and keep the leg muscles going. And lately I've been riding the bike again, so anything to try and keep breathing. That's about it, because the older you get, the less, the more oxygen you're needing to stimulate the muscles and get them moving. So that's, yeah, so just trying to maintain the body.
Good, you're killing us. That's good.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one. Let's assume that a 3-foot wave is head high. What's the biggest wave each of you have surfed? Herbie?
The one that wiped me out last. Oh gosh, yeah, I'll be at that 1.5 overhead, I suppose. Well, the ones I've never surfed are the ones when Laney wouldn't let me go out.
Yeah. Really? Okay.
Yeah, go Laney, you know, or, you know, successfully surfed, I would suppose about, there was one that we went on the trip with Bud, I suppose, I can't think of the name of the place at the moment. But anyway, that was over the head, but that was good.
So what would you say is too big to go out?
Too big is when I can't get out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, getting out's great. If I get a rip and get out, I like a wave to build up at the back, and it gives me a thrill anyway, you know. So and if I get a bomb out or curl up or whatever, that's fine. But the biggest hassle for me is not being in control to be able to catch the wave and then manage its fluidity as it's breaking and then as it's working, because you know it's fluid. Panta-ray they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything flows. But anyhow, yeah.
And it's all relative too. Penny?
Exactly, Glenn. Yeah.
Penny, what would you say is just a bit too big to go out?
Being out at Postos on some of those days where they say it's like 4 to 6 foot, big sweep, quite large swell, not many people in the water, and it's really tough. I've jumped off the reef, copped some on the head, got at the back, paddled and got a wave, and done okay until you get over the river mouth, and then that next section just
Yeah.
you know, you cop it on the head. So, and it's really exhausting to paddle back out. Some people do the run back around the reef if the reef's low enough. But see, I'm comfortable there, but I wouldn't do that anywhere else. I wouldn't go out at 13th at 4 to 5 foot, and I certainly wouldn't go out at bells at that size either. So it just depends where I am for me.
Okay.
Well
Mark,
said.
share anything?
Yeah, probably 6 would be my max, I reckon, especially with longboards. 13th, I reckon, 4 foot, gets a bit hairy. It seems to drag a bit more power up, maybe, but I reckon, 6 would be my max. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right too. On longboards, it's a whole new game getting out when it's getting that solid. Having exactly the right board, certainly not logging stuff, unless you've been Considine or Lee Considine. So,
well, it's the fear element that creeps in that throws you off your normal game, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, looking over the ledge.
Yeah. And we've got a lot more too, worrying about other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I mean, that kind of leads me, Mark, into the next question, which is what scares you most in the surf?
We had a big day at Crescent Head a couple of years ago, and I rolled the board to duck dive under probably a good 5 foot wave, and it was a bit powerful there, and it just dragged me. It dragged me upside down, and I popped up and I landed on top of a guy, and I think that's the biggest fear, is just hurting or damaging someone else's equipment, mainly hurting someone. When you think you're in control, it's just a different beach, different power wave, and it takes you. Yeah, that'll be it.
Penny, I know you've had a particularly bad experience, but
yeah, that's still
it's
my
a no-brainer.
But she keeps coming back, which we all love.
Yeah.
No, Mark's fantastic. When I'm out in the surf and I have a bit of a hairy moment, Mark reminds me to just breathe through it, because I still get a lot of anxiety. But my biggest fear is men going over my head again.
Yeah.
So, I'm not worried about the side of the wave. I'm not worried about getting held under, especially since doing the breathing course with Nan Baldwin. It's just being hit by someone.
I've never heard of breathing course.
Yeah, so last year the women got an opportunity to do the breath enhancement course with Nan Baldwin.
Oh, okay.
So you do it in a swimming pool, but they give you all of the techniques. So by the end of the class, you're holding your breath for a minute underwater, which isn't really very long, and you're in a swimming pool, so it's a different situation to being in the surf. But it gives you the confidence, because you know that if you're not panicking, that you actually can hold your breath for that period of time. And then at the end of the course, you also simulate what it would be like to have 12-foot wave hold unders by just swimming underwater for so many laps of the swimming pool on one breath. And so it simulates that, and it just really encourages you and gives you the confidence that when you're out there, you get held under and just relax and you'll be fine. So I don't really worry about that anymore. As I said, I'm worried about getting hit on the head.
Yeah, and breathe. Herbie.
That's a wonderful Buddhist view of the world, Penny. Anxiety attacks when I get out there and can't breathe. It's simple as that. And then nothing happens. Paddle away, there's no strength there. And where I don't know where I'm surfing, I suppose, because sometimes if I know where I am, I know, okay, hang on, let the wave just drag you in, and then you're on your feet, you're right. But it's getting it's in between breaths. Not like when I was young, I could go in the deep end of the diving pool, wasn't a problem, but age is different, that's all I can say.
Now, Herbie, if I could say one thing that you really would love to master in longboarding, what would it be?
Nose riding.
Easy.
And stepping back,
Mhm.
walking back.
Penny?
Yes, to be able to nose ride perfectly, and the same things. My goal with Ben was to cross step backwards, back to the tail.
Mark?
Definitely nose riding, and when you talk to Lee and Ben, that nose riding, if your toes aren't on the nose, you're not, that last 6 or 8 inches doesn't count. It's got to be up there. And the drop knee turn, well, that would be fantastic.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I've been
So
trying to practice that one.
Watch Laney in all, and I've got to rig up a system where I practice, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a
What
bit
about
of tape.
you, Glenn?
Well, I've got a bit of tape on the floor here that's 9 foot long. And it's been sitting there for about 2 months, and I don't think I've used it once, so I think that's where I need to start.
I was going to say, the garage floor, the shape of the board.
You want
stepping.
I think nose riding, it's pretty common, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what Lummers said to me one time when I was starting out? To grab yourself a big bit of PVC pipe, the length of it, put it in your backyard and just walk up and down on that.
Yeah.
Matt Lumley, yeah, fair dinkum. I still do that.
Master nose rider.
Well,
I think that kind of wraps it up, guys. So thank you very much. Let's Herbie. All right, thanks again, guys. This has been really good, and thank you again to our sponsors, Rare Surf T-shirts and Looking Smart. And see you in the water. Let's hope the crowd. Let's hope they all go home, because it's like you're not going home.
Yes, frightening.
Thanks
Lovely
a lot,
to see
guys.
you all.